Street Cred, breaking down all things MMA with Thomas Doscher and Nick Terdick.
Hey Nick, what's happening?
Hey Tom, how are you?
I'm doing good. We spoke about the future and the current situation with the 155 division, and now in my mind it's more crowded and more convoluted than it ever was. What is your take on this right now?
You know, first and foremost, I personally think that the belt should be stripped from Khabib.
Absolutely.
I think at this point, he's made it very clear he's not coming back. He was waiting for something spectacular. He has his last conversation with Dana the night of 257. He said, I'm light years above these guys, and that should be it. They should take the belt and give it to Dustin Poirier. They should give it to him.
Okay.
So they can avoid, another title fight. I think they should just give the belt to Dustin, and we can start from there. We can start this 155-pound madness with the champion. He could start defending it. Guys can start contending for it. I think that's what needs to be done. And I think there are a lot of good fights to be had when that happens.
You know what? Now, let's stay with it. You made a good point, and it's almost, in my mind, it's almost the only way that you can approach it. Because let's do a hypothetical situation here, okay? You don't give the belt to Dustin, all right? And you do like a little bit of a round robin in a sense, because obviously two other guys are going to have to fight to see who fights Dustin, right?
Yes.
So if you do that, you can't have Dustin go off and fight McGregor again. So that gets all effed up. And now if you do that, Dustin's got to go out and sit for at least 7 months because you're going to have a fight, and then you're going to have a recuperation, especially if one guy takes some, abuse, and they might both take an abuse with a fight. And who's the fight even going to be? It gets complicated now, right? Because of the time frames.
Yeah. And I think a good way to avoid issues with the time frame is to hear me out. You ready for this?
Yes.
UFC gives the belt to Dustin McGregor. He's a 155-pound lightweight champion.
Good.
Then you immediately roll into McGregor versus Poirier 3.
For the belt.
For the belt. Right. Dustin would be the champ, and then this would be for the belt. Okay?
You are a smart guy over there, Nick. I'm thinking that you just spoke to someone from the UFC, because, if that's not the case, then what do you even do here? I mean, that's the easiest, most compact way to make everything special again and have us care.
Exactly. And I'm trying to look at it from the UFC's point of view. What in my opinion, I feel like they're trying to get out of this. I think if you run the rematch back with McGregor Poirier, both of them are on the same schedule because they obviously both just fought each other. All right. Now you got guys like Gaethje sitting around looking. Who knows if he's looking for a fight? You got guys like RDA, Felder, Diaz, Charles Oliveira, Tony Ferguson.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
Did I say Diaz? I mean, Ally Quintet. There's so many guys that we can have fight each other. Chandler, I forgot about Chandler. I knew I was forgetting someone.
Oh my goodness!
It's crazy. I'm thinking that if we do the Poirier McGregor 3, right, you can do Justin Gaethje versus Oliveira, something that people were, I think, getting excited about, and I don't think it ever was going to happen. And in the interim, you can have a fight like Paul Felder versus Nate Diaz.
Oh, that's a good fight. All right, so let's do our hypothetical round robin here. Assuming, and I think you're 100% right, Dustin's just given the belt. Let's cut the shit. Dustin gets the belt. If Conor wants to make the rematch, which I think he does, get them rematch, and let's get these other guys moving in a circle to make their way up to the winner of that fight.
Yeah.
That's the logical thing here.
And John Kavanaugh has already said Conor McGregor has already been harassing everybody to try to get this rematch. So
Good.
I think we all know he's very persuasive
Good.
and I think if he can get the rematch, the UFC will give Dustin the belt, and they will sell it as, the big rematch. They're 1-1 for the lightweight title. Khabib's not coming back. Forget Khabib. This is for
Right.
This is for it.
Okay.
And then you start rolling into those other fights. Like I mentioned before, Gaethje Oliveira, right? You could do Chandler versus
I know. See, I knew that was going to be a tough one.
It's going to be a tough one, but think about it. You could do Chandler versus a Nate Diaz, and that would be cool. A lot of people don't want Chandler to just walk into a title shot now. They want him to earn his keep a little bit in this division.
Yeah, but I mean, if you want to do, I mean, let Tony Ferguson fight Nate.
Yeah.
I mean, Chandler's already past that mark. Why is he going to fight Nate?
I agree. And I don't think Tony Ferguson would be a bad fight for Conor McGregor if he doesn't get the Dustin Poirier fight.
That's a fight. You know what? That's a very interesting fight. And another great fight is Gaethje Oliveira. Even though it's so stylistically different and so weird, it could turn out to be just a great fight. But the only question mark for me is, what do you do with Chandler? He's already at a point where you've got to give him somebody really special here. Now, I'm not saying he gets a fight for the title, but he's right there knocking on the door, Nick. Who does he fight that's not a down step? Because, Hooker's rated. Hooker's a great fighter.
I think you can either have an RDA versus Gaethje, and then that would free up Oliveira for Chandler. And I think everyone's so high on Oliveira. Everyone that I hear wants Oliveira title shot, Oliveira title shot, Oliveira title shot. Well, I think Chandler, should be in the talks for a title shot too. Let's have them fight each other. Winner,
I like that.
Fights Conor or Dustin.
Okay, stay with that. Give me that again now.
So you get Chandler versus Oliveira, and the winner of that fight fights the winner of Conor and Dustin after they fight for the title.
All right, hold on, because you had Justin Gaethje fighting.
I had Gaethje in there too, but I have Gaethje fighting a guy like RDA.
Yeah, but I mean, RDA is knocking on the door too.
Exactly. That's why you got to keep. But Gaethje's not out there campaigning for one of these guys.
That's so sad. The fact that he is taking his opportunities here to call out guys and stay relevant, and has not said one word on his own behalf, Nick. Where's Justin Gaethje?
I don't know. And maybe it's happening and we're just not seeing it. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know where Justin Gaethje is. And regardless, he's the type of guy he'll fight anybody. You know what I mean? And he just fought for a title against Khabib. So
all right.
So maybe he feels like he's not he's going to let the division, the dust settle, and then he's going to start coming up again. He wants some time. I don't know what he's doing, but there are fights that that should be made, and I think he needs to step up and take somebody and call him out.
You have to. Nick, you've got to realize we're talking about a sport that is swirling in speed right now. And you talk about the dust settling. You settle with the dust. You become removed from the game. You can't fight once a year in the UFC, Nick. You can't.
I know. And, to add on to that, look at how it, I believe that, the ring rust is something that's 100% real. And I really do think it affected Conor in this last fight. If you think about it, his last fight was over a year ago, and he only fought for about 40 seconds against Cowboy. His last fight was a boxing match before that. So,
look
at how it affected him.
It really did. And we spoke about it Saturday night, the night of UFC 257, and we spoke about how Conor was angling to fight the whole year, and the UFC was not allowing him to fight because they were moving the chess pieces around so that they could get the fight with him and Khabib, and the whole thing fell through, and Conor got hurt.
Yeah.
With all the posturing and the chess pieces, because he didn't get out there. He wanted to fight to stay active. He didn't get the fight. Now he's got a lot of ring rust. Now he's got to come in and fight Dustin, who's been active.
Mm-hmm.
Conor was at a disadvantage with that ring rust.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the UFC did that to their guy. You know what I mean? And Conor wanted to fight, and again, they held him back. They were, I felt like, trying to manipulate, the matchups and
Absolutely.
give him the best kind of route to set up that Khabib rematch. Which, in all fairness, I do believe Conor wants that rematch, but Conor has told us, especially in this camp, that he's a competitor and he wants to compete, and I truly believe that. I don't think he really cares, as much, about the wins and losses as the fans do. He just wants to go out there and compete and knock people out and make highlights and make money doing it.
I respect that, Nick, and there's a lot of, it's a noble thing and all that, but you have to realize that your stock and trade drops with losses like this, and you saw it right there. Khabib has no interest, right? The only way that they could coerce Khabib out of that retirement is if Conor waltzes in there and in, let's say, 60 seconds or 90 seconds, demolishes Dustin and says, hey, the only guy out there left is Khabib. Now, at least you've got something where you can say it makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's going to be hard to sell that fight. The UFC doesn't want to see them fight just for the fuck of it, Nick. They want it to be a $200 million fight.
Yeah.
They want to break all records, all gate records, all ticket sales, all pay-per-views. That was where they were going with the whole thing. It wasn't just to see them fight.
And if we're going to go that road, I think another big fight, that could sell a lot of pay-per-views is McGregor-Diaz 3. And I think that would be good for Conor. He could shake off some of that ring rust, get in there. And I don't think that would necessarily be, a fight where they had to do it at 155.
I think that Conor just would just be better off just staying at 155 for now. But that complicates everything too, Nick, with a fight with Nate, because now let's just say that Conor takes a fight with Nate, okay, and it goes the distance. Nobody really wins. Nobody really loses. Conor doesn't look great. Dustin takes another fight. He looks fantastic. Then you can't even argue that they should have a rematch, because it's like, look, Conor doesn't even belong there anymore. You got to keep, when this fight is hot, like now, the Dustin rematch, you should make it happen while it's hot, because it may not even make sense a year from now, Nick.
No, you're right. And, I personally think it should happen. I think they should do it in the spring. I think Dustin and Conor should have that fight, and then let the other guys in the division kind of work itself out, and set Dustin up if he's going to be the champ at 155 to fight the number one contender, and then But I think at this point, like I said before, you got to strip Khabib and give the belt to Dustin. That was a title fight, whether we like it or not. I
know. And I think the public should really be, that should be, not that it ever is, but that should be like a little bit of an outcry to say, look, give somebody the belt and cut the shit. Because the fans are the ones buying the fights, and they should have an opinion here too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the good thing is that there are so many good fights in this weight class. So whatever route they do go down, we're winning, because we get to watch it all unravel.
I know you're right about that, though.
You know,
No matter who fights who now, it's all so closely contested. But you know what I find almost comical, and I don't want to discredit Nate Diaz, but you got to be brutally honest here. I mean, is Nate Diaz really in position to jump into the thick of things? Look at Nate's last 2 or 3 years, right? And all of a sudden, it's great that Nate wants to call people out and get back in the limelight, but he's not really deserving to be there. If you want to have Nate make a real statement here, then let Nate fight Tony Ferguson and let guys start fighting and fight your way back into the limelight. You know what I mean? Don't jump into the limelight untested. Fight your way back into it.
Yeah. I mean, and Nate's a huge sell. You know what I mean? People love Diaz brothers. And I think he's one of those guys that'll sell, no matter who he's fighting, he's going to sell a fight.
Okay, I agree with that. But let him come back in an organic path and not be jumping in against Conor, because I don't think that's such a great fight at this point in their careers. Is that a wonderful fight to make right now, even?
It'd be a money grab for sure. Definitely a money grab.
Yeah, it would be a money grab. Okay. All right.
But
yes.
I mean, Conor wants fights. You know what I mean? If he's going to pick smart fights, then Diaz is a smart fight for him to take. He's already beaten him. You know what I mean? He knows how to beat him. Would fighting guys like Oliveira and Chandler?
Oh man, that's a dangerous.
Be a smart fight for Conor? No. So he's got to be a little bit selective on who he's going out there against. I agree
with you. I'm saying the same thing. You got to be careful where this road takes you right now. If you have designs on hanging around, if you just want to make a flash like a rocket and you just want to let the chips lie, then you'll have another path.
Yeah.
But if you want to have a future, you should really pick your fights here a little bit carefully. All right, my friend. Always a pleasure, Nick. I look forward to talking with you again soon. And take care of yourself.
You got it. Thanks, Tom.